Welcome! This is Andrea Vitimus, and I'm here with my fine co-teacher in the Quantum Life Science Institute, Zach Louis. This video is part of the Magical 30 Do Magic Challenge, and I was working with Kali, and I've had quite a ride. And we just did a 5-6 hour ritual, Homa, with Kali, that had some very weird effects. So before we go into that, right, very, very interesting effects. Before we go into that, I want to talk a little bit because I was supposed to journal blog the whole 30 days, and shit got real. Like, so real that I didn't want to actually get on the camera and talk about it. It was much easier to blog about something than actually get on a camera and talk about how shit got real in your life. And that's how it is with magic. I had numerous things occur, numerous changes in my life. Some were really quite actually painful, like people leaving my life that I wish them the best. I wish that they didn't have to leave, and I wish they would learn to blame someone other than everyone else, to be quite honest, for their personal problems and their magical failings. And they can say what they want, and they'll probably trash me, I don't care. But it was quite painful, and I have other people who seemed like they were going to start going down that road, and they might not. So we'll see what happens. You never can tell. And the divinations for today's Kali ritual came out with like Tower, Death, Hangman. That's where we were at, and I felt like that in the 30 days. And it certainly, like that we had just got through all that. I literally, at times, had to beg Kali to almost just not get me out of my job. Because it looked like even that. And I started doing some side enchantments, calm things down. Because Kali's like, this is hindering your spiritual growth. And that's what I asked for, to actually start moving on spiritual growth again, because I felt like I was stuck for a number of years. So she did that. And I had to beg her and say, no, I won't have a way to actually like feed my family. I didn't have to beg. I just had to talk to her, communicate with the spirit to say, this has to be something I have to work on. But we'll get to that in a second, because there clearly was some changes even in that is radical in two different directions. So I'll talk about that. So this is only 30 days of magic work. I actually did 45. Yeah, it was like 45, and then went straight into ritual. And that included going on a trip and doing other stuff and doing initiations for people and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I kept up with it even though that. So there was a real kind of problem with the Kali work that I saw, and that Zach, when he was helping me with it, occasionally saw, is we were tripping so hard, we would very rarely get through very many mantras. Yeah. Now, if you read Juan Fry's, you would realize that doesn't matter. If you're getting to a point you are hallucinating and you're in what Peter Carroll calls Gnosis 1.0 or 100%, we were out of the building. Literally, we were hallucinating. And there was a rough time a couple days ago. I think people were a little concerned. I don't usually lose my shit in rituals because I'm pretty experienced. But I think it's safe to say I lost my shit in that. And all I was doing was the mantra work with the candle, like we described in the blog, and I lost my shit. I literally was like in this paranoid zone. I was hallucinating. I would go in and out of consciousness. I couldn't really come back. Like, it wasn't a matter of just banishing either. Like, eventually I got things under control. I took a shower. I kind of sat and reflected on all these hallucinations. It's not like it was a schizoid embolism. It literally was as a result of the ritual work with Kali. And I felt like we had been experimenting. Maybe this is an experimentation we shouldn't have done. Experimenting with basically time and as in the later part of the challenge, asking Kali to expand the mantra work to multiples of the actual mantra. And that one, there was a lot of weird hallucinations. And even Zach had hallucination. We were tripping balls, both of us were. Except it was like a bad trip for me. It just didn't. it didn't quite go like how I wanted it to go. It just, and like an actual trip, I couldn't really come down. That was unusual. Usually I can change consciousness pretty quickly, but I could not get awake enough or enough energy to really get back. It took me several hours. Those kind of weird things. And we had this situation with us doing the mantra work, which you can look at the mantra that we had in the full challenge, repeatedly causing hallucinations. Very early on, very powerful. Usually hallucinations were very relevant, and they had really relevant messages to where we should be focusing our life and in general. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of changes. Like, I will go over some of the changes. Obviously, I'm not going over all the details because, well, I have a private life. But needless to say, there was a drastic increase in income in my family. That was unexpected. There was drastic changes to people's self-esteems, which was verified, yeah. And drastic changes to the social fabric that I existed in several ways. In some of the closest friends and family I had, the relationship changed 180 degrees, like over the last 30 or 40 days. It was quite a bit. I mean, I talked about the one case where, it was unfortunately toxic, and that relationship ended. And I considered the person a good friend. I'm sorry that they're kind of falling in the way of doing so many drugs and alcohol, and blaming everyone but themselves for their problems in life. Which, if you're a magician and you start doing that, that's a dangerous slope. You could think everyone else is cursing you all the time, but usually your shadow is quite powerful. More powerful than most people realize. About what you hide from yourself is often the deal breaker for most magicians. Because you can either face that, or you can have hubris, and hubris doesn't help you fix anything in your life, really. So it is what it is. And I thought other people were going to go down the same route. And maybe they still will. So we will find out. Painful social changes. But on the flip side of that, what people don't realize is about 5 years ago, I was doing projects in Columbus, Ohio, to basically combine art and magic in ways that were fun for me personally. I love it. Like hypnosis with paintings, hypnosis with theatrical performances, and direct magical summonings as part of a greater thematic elements. And I'm not talking like straight OTO rituals or ceremonial magic rituals, but I mean really as more of a performance art. And someone came into my life that is all in on this and wants to work with me. And another big aspect that we talk about, and I said I had to tell Kali, don't quite take the job because even though I had an influx, then I got a promotion in the middle of the 40 days, and I'm up for another one. And this, interesting enough, I have an opportunity now where I know we've always talked about that Zach is part of the Quantum Life Science Institute, but now it is almost 100% sure that the Quantum Life Science Institute will have a physical location, and we will have a place in Cleveland that you can come to for hypnosis, and we're going to do a whole bunch of things, art projects, just amazing amounts of creative synergy with people involved, and they're all in. And it's a project that I wanted to do for a while, and everything just fell in line. I felt like this was part of my spiritual progress, my spiritual journey, to do these sorts of things. So that was very cool. So let's talk about the End Kali ritual, because we did a Capstone ritual, which is a Homa. It's a fire ritual where you basically, every time you do the mantra, you pour some ghee into the Homa, and it was very interesting. Very, very interesting. It was hard not to hallucinate through the whole ritual, and I know for a fact that Zach lost count.
Yep, I did.
He lost count because he was hallucinating. I was handling the fire, so I was trying not to hallucinate, but there was times where my head went down, and that was it. And I had to pull myself back because there's an open fire right in front of me. So, I mean, that was hardcore. But then we got to the end of we were going to try to go longer, but it was clear it was taking a toll on both of our bodies. A real kind of harsh toll. So we were experimenting with the mantra expansion technique again as a final, let's go all in. And it was taking a toll on our bodies. The energy was rough. We're getting tired. So we got to the 10 japa mal, which is a formal set that usually that's enough to solve problems in your life. In fire, that's a lot of mantras. Mm-hmm. And we came to the point that I was going to destroy the mala that I'd been using through the Kali work and release it into the energies into my life, as well as the sheet that I had used for the mantra, so that to pronounce the mantras and stuff like that, all that. We put those beads in that fire, and oh my God, that fire. It wasn't just it wasn't like it got out of control,
no.
But it got so freaking hot. I mean, I mean, I could barely even put the ghee in anymore, and we're praying over it while those mala beads were being destroyed, which is like releasing it into the energy. I had other things to collect it, various yantras and stuff like that for Kali. So it's not like we let the energy just go. It was going into my life too. And oh my God, I've never seen a fire that hot in my house. No, I mean, really. And it was very weird because we had a brass statue of Kali. And this is the most interesting part of the ritual that occurred. When I thought we should be done, first of all, the Kali, we had a nice Kali, which we're going to put some at the end of this video. We're going to put some pictures of the actual work in there at the end so you can see we actually did the work. We had this nice Kali
bronze copper mix statue.
Not even that. We had the
not the blanket, the picture.
The picture up on the wall, and it started to fall when I thought we were done, when the counting would have been 10. And in retrospect, based on how much time we spent, that probably would have been 10. So we lost count. We went over. And that fell when I thought it was about 10. So we're already getting some weird oddity thens. Mm-hmm. And it was taped up very well. So this is not just, oh yeah, you guys didn't tape it well. No, we taped it. We taped it. And then at the end it gets even weirder, because if you know anything about Kali, she's often depicted as black, completely pitch black. And at the end of the ritual, we have this copper brass statue of Kali that was kind of the center point of our altar, which you'll see the pictures in a couple seconds. And Kali was perfectly black, but Shiva was still bronze.
Yeah.
Like the suit had, the flames came up through into Kali, and nothing touched Shiva. Because it was Shiva, it was Kali dancing on Shiva. And even I was kind of like, I noticed that. I said, am I hallucinating? And Zach's like, no, this is very, very weird. So with that, I've said enough about that. Do you have anything to say about it, Zach?
No, you did an excellent summary on it. I mean,
right.
Losing track of time, things getting trippy.
Yeah.
And how big that fire grew. It didn't just get hot, it grew quite big at a few points.
Now, for full disclosure, my significant other and Lovey, Rebecca, said, you're not doing this ritual without a spotter. So I want to thank Zach, because he actually lives in Toronto. He came down to spot for me so I could do this multi-hour homo. So thank you, Zach. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, because he was probably right. I needed a spotter given what happened a couple days ago, and the lost fugue mind of Andrea Vitamis and the Kali work. So this has been a magical 30 days. Has been like definitely an eye-opener. And then having the space locked down and me get an opportunity to do some of these artistic projects, it really, really helps. really helps. Unfortunately, the negative sides of the social aspects, these people were actually probably preventing my spiritual growth with their toxicity. So I understand why that had to happen. That's what I asked for. Nothing you can do about it. I mean, there's stuff I could do about it, but it's easy to try to maintain the status quo and nothing changes. But that isn't helpful. It isn't helpful at all. So why don't you, for a couple seconds, just enjoy some of the pictures that we're going to put in from the ritual, just so you can see that we actually did it. And let me know what you think. We are going to do more rituals in the public, because that is going to be part of the center that we're opening. But more details will be coming about that real soon. So with that, I want to wish everyone a great night, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, take it easy, everyone.